earlier later or after the press conference?
Yeah, we can have a look, yeah? At the books, yeah? Please, on my hand.
Yeah. I will probably introduce the two of you.
Yeah, please. Yeah. Please do.
Okay.
Please do.
So,
or should I?
Yeah.
Let's start.
Probably, yeah. Then I can. Yeah, I just wanted to invite you back, Excellency.
Let me start by welcoming at the African Union headquarters His Excellency Massad Boulos, the U.S. Senior Advisor for Africa. We had a constructive meeting this afternoon, and we have discussed a number of issues related to peace and stability, counterterrorism, Africa-U.S. partnership. The African Union Commission appreciates the mediation process launched by President Trump's administration regarding the situation in the Sudan, Eastern DRC, and Libya and the Sahel. The African Commission continues to prioritize Africa-led responses to conflict on the continent. The African Union is indeed making progress in its reform plan. On Eastern DRC, we will listen to Massad Boulos, who has been very active in brokering a deal. We attended together the Washington agreement, and we hope that the African Union Commission will continue to work with you. On the Sudan, the African Union continues to engage the stakeholders to reach a ceasefire and work with the Sudanese-led dialogue, through the Sudanese-led dialogue that should help the Sudanese to end this war, organize elections, and enable civilians to govern the country. On the Sahel, the security situation is very much worrying. Terrorist groups are expanding their actions against military installations and civilian properties. There is a need for a collective action with the support of the neighboring countries. The African Union Commission has appointed a special envoy to engage the IOS countries on critical political fronts. On Somalia, the African Union remains engaged with forces on the ground to fight Al-Shabaab terrorists. The transition from ATMIS to AUC must be supported by the international community. We have also insisted on the fact that UN Resolution 2719 is the most predictable and sustainable source of funding to this mission. On trade and investment, we were very much encouraged by the outcome of the African Union-US Business Forum, organized in June this year in Angola. The African Union Commission would like also to see more American investments in infrastructure, digital economy, and green energy on the continent. After the termination of AGOA, it is paramount for the continent to explore with the US administration the ways and means to promote trade through AFCFTA, which is the Continental Free Trade Area. And last but not least, we also discussed the strengthening of CDC capacities by the US administration, and that's in the best interest of the global community. Because as we always say, pandemics cannot be stopped by borders, oceans, or mountains. So these are a few issues that we discussed with Massad Boulos, and we hope that we will continue to engage with him and the President Trump's administration, where we'll be attending the UNGA meeting in a few days' time. Please.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Today, I had the privilege of meeting with His Excellency Mahmoud Ali Youssouf, Chairperson of the African Union Commission. It was meaningful and strategic discussion, one that reflects the commitment the United States under President Donald Trump is making to deepen our partnerships with Africa. As we have demonstrated through action, this initiative reflects President Trump's desire for regional peace, stability, and prosperity. Our team's work across the continent is a direct product of his vision, a vision for an Africa that is not defined by conflict, but anchored in shared economic opportunities and sovereign leadership. I thank the Chairperson today for the AU's contributions to the peace agreement in the Eastern DRC and between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda. President Trump believes strongly that all parties involved are ready for peace. Now, he expects them to prove that readiness, not in words, but in action. We are working hard to make that happen, and I have urged the AU to redouble its efforts to support this process for a durable peace. And thank you very much for all your efforts. By securing peace, we will open the door for commercial deals designed to bring transparency, economic growth, and long-term stability to the region. This American investment will unlock billions in economic potential, but it must be tied to peace and responsible governance. We are counting on our African partners, including the AU, to leverage this opportunity to make sure all our people can share in this prosperity. American businesses are eager and ready to invest, both in places where they already have a presence and in those where they do not. Our job is to facilitate those investments, and we are grateful for the openness and cooperation of our African partners in setting the ground for this growth. Outside of this agreement, the chairperson and I discussed the vital role of the AU, the vital role that the AU does and should play in leading on African solutions to challenges across the continent. President Trump sees Africa not as a charity case, but as a strategic partner. Our policies are guided by respect, by realism, and by results. We are here to support leaders who pursue peace, protect their people, and promote prosperity through private enterprise and rule of law. That's why we are committed to supporting African-led efforts to resolve conflicts, combat terrorism, and strengthen regional stability. President Trump is focused on economic engagement that empowers local enterprise and opens the door for American companies to compete fairly. This is about building real prosperity, not dependence, which is what I want to emphasize when we talk about US investments. Whether it's minerals, infrastructure, or other sectors, it's a win-win proposition. We need the AU and our African partners to step up with us and to put the immense knowledge and experience of this continent to work to drive this agenda. Whether restoring peace or breaking down barriers to trade and development, President Trump recognizes that Africa's success depends on the political will of the African leaders to harness this continent's vast potential. The United States, our people, our businesses are here and eager to help drive this growth. We thank Chairperson Youssouf for his leadership and candid exchange today. The African Union is a vital partner, and we look forward to building on today's progress in the weeks and months ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Excellencies, for sharing the outcome of your meeting. So the Excellencies actually have got very busy schedule. The Chairperson will be traveling in the morning, and
we
shall take 2-3 questions.
May I ask a question?
Please.
Thank you so much.
Introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm from China Media.
Question to me.
Yeah,
Sure.
to Your Excellency, Mr.
Sure.
Massad. So as we know, the U.S. government has declared its African policy shifted to the trade driven. But on July, there are only 5 resource-rich African countries were invited to the White House summit, and also many of African countries are going to facing very high tariffs, and also the visa restrictions from United States. How can the U.S. To ensure this aid to trade policy is not an empty promise to African nations?
Well, thank you very much for your question, although this is a very long question and this is a number of questions. But yes, you said it right, absolutely. Our policy has shifted from aid to trade, and President Trump made that very clear during this forum that you mentioned, or this event, when 5 heads of state visited. So far, 9 heads of state have visited, so this was not the only time. You must have seen the others as well, in different types of events or meetings or visits. So this was just a forum for those 5 countries, and there can be others as well, different sizes, different groups. Some can be bilateral, some can be multilateral. This was just a brief event for 5 countries, and there can be others. But we have since we've only been, this administration has only started, and on January, taken over on January 20th, as you know, and we've started building those partnerships for the last 8 months now. We've built partnerships all over the continent. We've had bilateral discussions with a huge number of countries, discussions on trade. You mentioned tariff. We've had success in a number of these discussions, and many others are ongoing. In terms of partnerships, we've built partnerships all over, from the north all the way to the south. We've helped finance numerous projects, infrastructure projects, as the chairperson indicated, in numerous sectors, including IT, including telecom, including AI, mining, healthcare, agriculture. There have been a large number of projects that were initiated, projects that were supported by the United States, whether it's the DFC or US Exim Bank or other organizations. And a lot of work has been done. A lot of work has been achieved so far, and many, many partnerships have been built. Thank you.
مرحبا، محمد طه توكل مدير مكتب الجزيرة هنا سبق والتقينا. في البداية نرحب بك البيت العربي والبيت الأفريقي وجودك معنا، وخاصة نحن نعلم أن أنت من خلفية عربية وأيضا عشت في أفريقيا وعندك علاقات، وبالتالي نحن متفائلين إيجاد حلول للقضايا الأفريقية والعربية في الحقل. سؤالي يتعلق بالشأن السوداني. تابعنا موضوع الرباعية وخلال 9 شهور حل هذه القضية، لكن ما هي الآليات اللي حيتم بها التنفيذ؟ ثانيا، هل تواصلتم مع طرفي النزاع؟ وما هي للحصول على الرد؟ وما هي المدة الزمنية أو مفتوحة لأن الأزمة كانت مفتوحة؟ ثانيا، لاحظ أن احنا سواء في الإدارة السابقة أو الإدارة الحالية، يعني تقييم الدور الأفريقي دائما تركزوا على أطراف بعينها في إيجاد حل لقضية أساسية اللي هي قضية السودان، فتم استبعاد الاتحاد الأفريقي بشكل قد يزعج له البعض، وأيضا تم استبعاد الدول الأفريقية السبعة اللي عندها حدود مع السودان. فبالتالي ما هو آلية التنسيق وما هي مخرجات اللقاء بينكم وبين رئيس المفوضية؟ السؤال الأخير ممكن السيد رئيس المفوضية، لكن السؤال الأول الخاص بالسودان ليك، ونحن سعداء نعرفكم على بعد ونشوفك مباشرة. أنا سعيد أكثر.
ألف شكر على سؤالك الكريم. أول شيء بحب أكد، خليني أبدأ من آخر نقطة. أول شيء لم يتم استبعاد أي طرف على الإطلاق، أو أي مؤسسة أو أي بلاد مجاورة أو غيرها، أبدا على الإطلاق. الرباعية مثل ما بنعرف هي أحد المنصات إذا بدك يلي قامت بمبادرة معينة، وهي قامت بشغل الحقيقة جيد جدا فينا نقول، خاصة هلا بعد يعني ما تم الإعلان عن هذا إذا بدك المشروع الإصلاحي أو خارطة الطريق الإصلاحية. لم يتم استبعاد أي أحد أبدا، يعني أي عمل نحن بنقوم فيه، أول شيء كولايات متحدة أي عمل نحن بنقوم فيه هو عمل مكمل لأي عمل كان على صعيد الاتحاد الأفريقي أو أي مؤسسة أو منظمة أخرى، أو لأي بلدان أخرى بتقوم بأي من هذه المبادرات. فهذه مبادرة مكملة بشكل كتير واضح لكل المبادرات يلي عم بتقوم فيها الاتحاد الأفريقي. ومش بس بالسودان، طبعا الاتحاد الأفريقي له دور مهم جدا على صعيد القارة ككل، وعلى صعيد كل النزاعات يلي تكلم عنها سعادة الرئيس. كانت النزاع اللي بيتعلق برواندا والدي ار سي او بليبيا او بالساحل او بغيرها من النزاعات على القاره، ولا يمكن هلا تعداد كل النزاعات. اي عمل نحن بنقوم فيه هو عمل تكميلي، وهو لاضافه الدعم والاسناد لا اكثر ولا اقل. هلا موضوع الرباعيه هو موضوع مهم جدا بما يتعلق بالسودان، ولكن هو ليس الوحيد، هي ليست المبادره الوحيده. هناك عدد من المبادرات اذا بدك كان في لها نسب متفاوته من النجاح، ولكن نحن بنعتبر انه العمل اللي قمنا فيه من خلال هيدي المنصة ومن خلال هيدي مجموعة الدول الأربعة كان عمل جيد جدا، على أن يستكمل طبعا بخطوات مهمة جدا مثل ما تفضلت وحكيت، لأنه هو العبرة طبعا هي بالتطبيق. الشيء الجيد هو أنه هذا الإعلان بيتضمن مش بس خارطة الطريق واضحة ومفصلة، ولكن بيتضمن أيضا مهل زمنية. نحن ليس علينا أن نفرض، وليس من قدرتنا أصلا أن نفرض أي شيء على السودان وعلى الشعب السوداني. هذا الخيار بالنهاية بيعود للشعب السوداني وبيعود للسودانيين، ولكن نحن علينا أن نبدي كل الدعم وكل المساعدة للوصول إلى حل سريع لهذا المشكل الإنساني الكبير. نحن مثل ما بنعرف اليوم إن هي أكبر مشكلة إنسانية على الإطلاق هي اليوم بالسودان، وهذا شيء مؤسف. شفنا إنه هناك عشرات الآلاف بل مئات الآلاف حتى من الأطفال يلي عم بيموتوا من الجوع. فإذا بس بدنا ناخذ الشق الإنساني بحد ذاته هو بيحتم على الجميع، الرباعية وغير الرباعية والدول الجوار وغيرهم والاتحاد الأفريقي والاتحاد الأوروبي وغيرهم، إنه ينكبوا على هذه المسألة وإيجاد حل سريع لهذا الموضوع، لأنه حان الوقت إنه الشعب السوداني للحقيقة يرتاح من هذا العذاب ومن هذا النزاع، بالإضافة لملايين، يمكن 10 ملايين أو أكثر من النازحين أيضا. حان الوقت إنه هؤلاء النازحين يرجعوا على ديارهم سالمين لا شك.
الاستبعاد للاتحاد الافريقي غير وارد، لاننا عندنا خط موازي لمحاوله حل الازمه في السودان. نحن كاتحاد افريقي عندنا اليات لمعالجه هذه الازمه، وقد قمنا بمبادرات كثيره والتواصل مع جميع الاطراف. حتى مؤخرا انا كنت في الامارات والتقيت باحد ممثلي المجموعه اللي تسمى صمود ورئيس الوزراء السابق. وفي شهر 8 الاتحاد الافريقي ارسل وفود للقاء بالمجلس السيادي وايضا للقاء بالكتله الديمقراطيه، منهم تاسيس وغيرهم. طبعا الاتحاد الافريقي لا يستبعد ولا يرفض اي مساعي حميده تاتي من اي طرف كان. الولايات المتحده تقوم بمبادرات قيمه ولكن في نهاية المطاف لن تنجح المبادرات التي تأتي من الخارج إن لم يكن هناك العنصر الإفريقي والاتحاد الإفريقي منخرط تماما في هذه المبادرات، لأنه العبرة في التطبيق كما قال سيد المستشار. التطبيق سوف يقع على الدول المجاورة، المنظمات الإقليمية والمنظمة القارية ألا وهي الاتحاد الإفريقي، وهذا أمر مسلم به. ولكن طبعا نحن نعمل مع الرباعية ونعمل مع أطراف أخرى حتى يعني يعود السودان إلى الاستقرار وتنتهي هذه المعاناة الإنسانية في هذا البلد الشقيق.
One final question, Daud? You wanted to ask a question?
Yes.
Daud,
Thank you so much, John, from Reuters. My question to you, Your Excellency, and also maybe just last week, Ethiopia has inaugurated the Dam Sudan in the Nile River, and you mentioned about AU's readiness immediate between Egypt and Sudan and also Ethiopia. So, is there any concrete plan from the AU immediate or to introduce some kind of talk between these two countries? And what's the stance from the US government on this? There are tensions between Egypt, specifically Egypt and Ethiopia over the Nile River, and Ethiopia was saying they are ready to talk. So is the US government also concerned about this issue and has a plan to that?
Let me say first that the Renaissance Dam is a major infrastructure project which is beneficial not only for Ethiopia but for the whole region. It is a hydropower producing dam, and it's very important for the development of all the countries in the region, and in particular for Ethiopia. Of course, since 2015, there was negotiations going on without concrete results when it comes to how best this dam could be co-managed by the riparian countries, in particular Sudan and Egypt. And I think that there is no, as I always say, other alternative than that kind of cooperation. And we do have on the continent very good examples and best practices when it comes to Western Africa. I mentioned it when we attended the inauguration of the dam. You have the organization of the co-management of the river Senegal, or Senegal River. It's working very well between Mali, Mauritania, and Senegal. I think this kind of partnership cooperation between Ethiopia, Sudan, and Egypt should happen, and the Commission is ready, and we will engage, other countries, and I think Ethiopia is ready for that. I had discussions with the Prime Minister, His Excellency Dr. Abiy, and we will engage also Sudan and Egypt so that we can offer our services to help them sit around the table of negotiation and figure out the best way they can cooperate on the management of the dam. Please.
Yeah, thank you very much. We fully support that, and we, as you know, the United States has previously helped with this during the first Trump administration, and we remain committed to help in any way we can and assist in any way we can in peacefully resolving any conflicts, not just on this continent but anywhere in the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If you have further questions, our media team is around. Thank you so much.